Now it is with great pleasure that I introduce our next speaker. We have in our midst today a man who came to Lincoln County in 1947, attended D Lake Elementary School and then Taft High School. After leaving high school, he went and worked on the Dew Line in Alaska, having to be on full alert as to how relations between Russia and the United States were, and to be ready at all times for any emergency. He worked for marine construction companies and was a commercial fisherman for 38 years. He resides here in Depot Bay with his wife Nancy. They have 2 grown sons and a grown daughter. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce you to our mayor, the Honorable A.J. Mattila, and to acknowledge our past mayors for their contribution to our fair city. Mayor A.J. Mattila.
Thank you, Dorothy. We welcome everybody here today as our guests and participants. I'd like to welcome everybody to the land of blinding sun and scalding rain. And I really have to apologize about our new tradition that we had planned for starting the fleet with flowers being dropped from the bridge. However, we can do that next year. I would specifically mention State Representative David Gomberg and his lovely wife Susan. David. We have here as well Bill Hall and his lovely wife Carol. Chief DePoe is here. I had a pleasure with talking with him yesterday evening, and he gave me some insight to their lineage and how the bonnet, is that a, what do you call that? Just a bonnet or?
What?
The
horn.
It's a what, sir? Your regalia.
Headdress. Well, this is my dad handed this headdress down to me, and it was handed down to him by his father, so it's a real old headdress. So I always wear it when there's certain things that go on where my dad used to be all the time. They made a special headdress for me up at Celeb's, and when I go to other powwows, I wear that headdress.
I see. So that's some of the history behind the DePoe family. I would be remiss without introducing my Nancy, her sister, and my brother-in-law, Jeff, over there. Everyone here has lost someone, so this year some of our guests are going to start a new tradition by dropping flowers from the Highway Bridge. Of course, that's going to happen. We'll get into that next year. I want to mention our own recent losses, starting with Kenny Wisniewski, one of our founding families in Depot Bay since 1895. Always with a twinkle in his eye and a warm heart, a patriarch that will be sorely missed. Jim Tate, a very honest, good man, well loved by the community. Never had a bad thing to say about anyone. He had a razor-sharp mind and was a true city statesman. Howard Pruitt, another sports fisherman and an interesting person. Ling Cod feared Howard. When no one else could catch a fish, Howard always seemed to catch the biggest and never came home empty-handed. At least that's what he always told me. Maury Knotts, another interesting individual. If you went herring fishing with Maury, you better get there first, because if you weren't, you'd be going in with an empty bucket and he would be walking out with his catch limit. Ron Nissen, a dedicated commercial fisherman. Ron was one of the hardest working individuals in our community. His loss in a boating tragedy was a loss that I, for one, will never get over. Always a smile, he went about his business professionally and passed away too young.